All right, welcome everybody to Stock Analysis Friday. My name is Bennett McDowell with TradersCoach.com, and today is December 6th, 2024. Happy holiday season to everybody out there. All right, so the purpose of Stock Analysis Friday is for you to really type in a stock or an ETF that interests you, and I'll be glad to look that up for you and put it under the microscope using our software, and which is technical analysis. And we'll take a look to see if there's a buying opportunity. If you're already in a position, you may be long or short something, let me know that as well. And then I'll give you an idea of where I think your stop exit should be if the trend reverses on you. So I'll be glad to do that. So when you type in your symbol in the comments area, type in no more than 3 symbols at a time. You can always type in more later. But let me know if you're long, short, or thinking about it, okay? And that way I can customize the analysis to your specific needs. All right, so let me go through a few administrational items I need to cover before we get going. And of course, that includes the presentation disclaimer, which basically indicates that there is risk in trading or investing in the financial markets. I think we all know that. But you need to realize that, and you need to also realize what your risk is when you're entering a trade. So that's really important. And if you need help in that area, I've written a couple good books. I'll show you those in a moment that will tell you how to do that. Also, too, if I do a recommendation today and say, hey, that really looks good technically, still run that by your financial advisor or whoever manages your money to be sure that particular opportunity is suitable for you. I don't know your personal situation, they do, and there's a lot of factors that go into making that determination. And then finally, always trade or invest with money you can afford to do so. Usually that's called risk capital. And when you actually take the trade, you can actually know how much you possibly could lose on a trade or how much you possibly could win. So know how to do all those calculations. And again, we have several books and courses on how to do all that. So welcome, everybody. Good to see everybody here. And yes, welcome, Jim. Al, good to have you here. Al's already got one ready to go, MGM short. I'll get to that in just a minute, Al. All right, great. So good. Start typing in and do those type-ins in caps, Al. So that's great that you did that already. Thank you. All right, so I always like to bring this up on all my webinars because there's a lot of people getting into day trading right now, and day trading is phenomenal, but it's the hardest easy money you'll ever make, so to speak. You have to learn how to do it and have an edge in it. And this using Apex Trader Funding is such a great way to go because especially in the beginning, while you're practicing, you're not risking your own money. That's the key with Apex. And they're giving you free data, free futures data to get going. So I have several accounts, obviously, with Apex. And you start out with an evaluation account and you work your way up to a funded account where you actually can get paid. So you almost become like a hedge fund trading their capital. And you can actually get paid. And the payouts are up to 90%. So here is a screenshot I took a while back. I'll have to update this, but a lot of people I know are getting payouts, huge payouts from this. So the first thing is learn how to trade. Again, this is where we come in. We're an educational firm in the area of trading, and so we can help you do that as well. So I put a coupon up for let me just put that up here real quick, and then I'll go back to you. So there's a coupon for Apex. Use it because it'll save you a ton of money. All right. And it's not expensive. We're talking maybe $40 a month, but you get free data. So I think it's a pretty good deal. All right. Then the last couple things I want to show you are the books we have available. I'll put a link in the recording on, basically our Amazon page where you can buy these. My new book, The Art of Trading, 608 pages. That's the final page count. So it's a big boy. And it's available now for order, and it is being shipped on January 9th. So about a month from now. Okay, kind of cool, right? Also, too, we have software, and that's available too. Let me put that up there real quick. And our software is available on our website, so you can just either go to appliedrealitytrading.com or traderscoach.com and check it out. And we have subscriptions, affordable subscriptions as well. So we have charting software. We also have scanners if you need those, and then risk control software. So I want to thank everybody for coming. Give us a like, subscribe, and share. And let's dig in now. All right. Before I get going, I just want to go over. Let me go back to where you were here, Al. Hopefully I can find you back here. I think it was MGM, if I recall. Oh, you got one even before that. Okay. All right. So, by the way, this is UNG I've got up here. But before I dig into even talking about that, I just want to go over a little bit about what you're looking at. So you're looking at our software on 3 different charts. So you can see the chart symbol. Each chart is the same symbol. And basically, this is a short-term view. So it's a shorter time frame. This is an intermediate view. And this is a long-term view. And the reason we do that is it kind of in a glance allows us to use multiple time frame analysis to get a real good idea of what this particular stock is doing or ETF is doing short-term, intermediate, and long-term. And our software is loaded on each chart. And this is the NinjaTrader platform. But it works on TradeStation and things like that as well. But it really is excellent because when you analyze a stock like this, it helps you time it better. Okay, so that's why we do it. Up here's our scanners. All right, we're not going to be using those today. We're not going to be using any risk control software because you're just going to give me the symbols and I'm going to look them up. By the way, this is the ETF for UNG. And, you know, I've been looking at this to go long for quite some time. And, you know, we got a bottom here. We had a pullback, and thank goodness we're seeing a little bit more of a pull up, but we still have a red PTF over here. So I'm not going to actually put that on the buy list today, simply because I want that short-term chart. That's the one on the far left, to get a little bit more bullish and get rid of this red down here before I have confidence enough to give that a buy signal. I think it's close. I think it's going to be a great buy at some point. UNG represents natural gas. It's an ETF, and it's been going down for a long time. So I kind of like to look at things that are kind of near the end of a long-term trend, whether it's up or down. And UNG, of course, is coming down. All right, let's jump on to what you want me to look at for you. All right, so this is for Al. I put Al's request up there in the screen so you can see that. So let's take a look at BSEM, long question mark, meaning that he is thinking about it. So not in it yet, but thinking about it. So let's bring that bad boy up here. And let's see. Okay, I had a big spike up earlier. Now it's pulled back. It's still loading on the charts. Okay, not bad. All right, so what I'm liking about this, Al, is you're not trying to get in here. Instead, you're trying to get in now on the next possible move up. So a couple things our software is telling us. Okay, let's start from right and move to left. First of all, big move. This is what they call an Elliott wave 3 that's still unfolding on the weekly chart. We've got this helping us and telling us it's an Elliott wave 3. You've got this situation, which is the PTF, which is basically when it's green, just locate the highest green in the area, and that's the target. So that's a huge target, right? That's a double your money. That's all the way above 30, and we're only at 1444. So that is bullish, right? Let's go to the middle time frame. All right, so we still got a little red down here, and we do have this here. So now we've got 2 time frames telling us the target is close to 30 bucks. Now we're going to try to work on the timing of when to get in this. All right, so the only thing I don't like about that is the red here. Also, too, if you notice, Al, we've got a little bit of a pyramid trading point forming down here, right? Now, what's interesting about this chart is that if you had gotten in back in October on these pyramids here, that would have been a nice little profit, and you would be out by now. So you would not have suffered coming all the way down. But there is an opportunity to the upside. But I think right now, if we look at the short-term chart over here, we got a lot of red and a downtrend. So I think it's really close. I want to put this one on a watch list, but it's not quite ready yet, okay? It's still, I think, in a little bit of a phase where it's bouncing along the bottom. I'm not so sure the low is in yet because that's what the 60-minute chart is showing us. So let's look at this next week, okay? Do not go long on this. I would not anyway. All right, let's take a look at your next one, CLSK, and see what this one looks like here as well. All right, so let me just get a good tune on this. All right, not a lot of history. We go back to about 2015, I guess, which in the stock market is not that far. We had some volatility moving way up. Wow, got up to about 160 at one point. And then now it's settled down to 15 bucks. And it really has not, I mean, it moved out a little bit here and then settled back in. We've got some green PTFs here. We got some moves out here. The question is, where is it going? All right. How, where's the target? The PTF only has a target right above here, which is, going to be what, about $18, and it's at 15 bucks. I don't think it's worth the trade because your stop would have to be down in this area. So your risk would be more, risk to reward's not there for that one. And I don't think it's a great opportunity. So I would pass on that one too. Okay. All right. Let's go to your next one. MGM. MGM. Whenever you think of MGM, I always think of Las Vegas. Okay. All right. So let's see what we got cooking there. All right. This is a question mark for a short. All right. So the short is definitely a possibility. And I say that very quickly because look at the PTF on the weekly and the daily chart. That's this indicator and that indicator. So this indicator has a 75% accuracy rate, which is really high for anything in the markets. And so when it's red, you take the lowest low in the red area, and that would be this area back here, and actually even this area back here on the longer term time frame. So there's a large probability that we are in a downtrend. All right, so what do you do with this? Okay, you can see that we have lower highs, okay? We have consolidation on the short term, and we have the beginning of possibly a decent trend. We took out this liquidity here, or more liquidity down here. So I don't think a short position is out of the question here. I don't know if it's for everybody, but I certainly see it on here now. So that is something, and your target, your first target would be around 33, right around there. Your long-term target, you'll really want to hold it possibly for a few years, could be around in the single digits. So, if there's enough profit to make that worthwhile for you, from 37 to 33, that's a little over 10%. Not great. Okay, you can certainly take that. It may go down a lot further, obviously. And of course, that's what the long-term charts are saying. But it might get down here and then pop up and then, go back down. So the key is putting your stop at a certain area. And I think you're going to have to, if you're going to go for the short-term target here, your stop's got to be fairly close to where the prices are. So this would be your risk. This would be your risk to reward, which would be high enough. That's over 2 to 1. So you could take that to a short position. So I'll put that down as a short for you. Okay. It's not necessarily for everybody, but it certainly is a possibility. Just make sure you have your stop fairly close in order to maintain that risk to reward. And having a closer stop is a little bit more risky because with the volatility I'm looking at on this chart, it's probably likely you could get stopped out before that thing takes off to the downside. So that's the risk. Okay. All right, let's keep going here. All right, here's my Apex funding thing. All right, let me keep going. Yeah, I love that saying. Day trading is the hardest, easy money you'll ever make, or the easiest, hardest money you'll ever make. I'm not sure which is the right way to say that. Okay, yes, I got those. Thank you. Let's see what we go. Okay, Jim, how you doing? BA, all right. Now, if I miss anybody, because there's quite a few coming in, just retype it in and I'll get to it a little later on. Okay, so BA, looking to go long. Okay, so we looked at this before. We kind of got a little bit of a pennant forming on the weekly chart. You can see that by that flag-shaped pennant. So the question is the bottom in? And can you go long on this? And it's looking pretty good because these lows have held here. That's a wide range in that pennant. So, for you to have to wait for that pennant to be broken out, you're probably going to have to wait 5 years. Okay, that's a long-term chart. So I don't necessarily think I would go by that unless you're trying to get up to 450 bucks again. So let's take a look at what if this makes sense on a short-term time frame. Now, don't forget, I'm not looking at fundamentals. I'm not looking at brokers' recommendations. I'm just purely looking at the technicals here. So let's kind of take a look at that here. I'm going to open up this chart a little bigger. And this could be a bottom. This could be a bottom. You could have a slight trend to the upside, a lot of volatility. So the possibility here is that you could be getting in near the next bottom before it rotates up. Not my favorite, simply because it kind of goes back and forth, and look at the volatility in these moves. So you need to give your stop quite a bit of room, and it kind of looks like, you'll have periods where it's down, up. So that's, you got to determine, are you going to hold this for a while or just trade the next leg up? So that's the question. Now, where's the target on this? Pretty hard to say, right? So again, I think the long-term target, if this is a bottom, is going to be above here. So I think, eventually you'll get there, but you're not going to do that in 6 months. That's going to take a long time. So their target's probably maybe take a fib retracement here. Maybe you could get to 200 in a reasonable amount of time. So, from 157 to 200. All right, that's not such a bad profit, right? So you could consider that. It's bullish on the short-term time frame. If you go long here, I would put your stop at the very bottom. All right. You have not had a big pullback yet on this. So I kind of wait for the pullback, maybe wait for the pyramid if you get one there, and then go from here. So I kind of would hold off on this. I mean, that's me personally. I'd like to see how this particular stock does on the next pullback, and if this bottom holds. We got green here, but we also got a very long owl. So that's about to go red there. So I think that's, I think we're getting close to a pullback. Hopefully it'll only go down to about 150. And if it does, that shows a lot of strength, especially if it comes back and then takes out, what is it, the 163 high here. So we'll see. All right, I'm not going to recommend it now, but let's put it on a watch list and take a look at it next week. Okay, thank you, Jim. All right, Frank, good to have you here. We haven't seen you here in quite some time. NVDA, NVIDIA, the talk of the town. All right, so if you look at the weekly chart, and let me just open this up here. If you look at the weekly chart, is there any reason why the NASDAQ is making new highs? So NVIDIA is one of these stocks. Tesla is another one. You can just go down all the big boys in the tech industry, and you can thank them for these the market's making all-time highs. Okay, that's bottom line. These stocks are the ones leading the way, right? All right, so if you look at this chart, and it gotten in down here under 20 bucks back in just 2022. Look at that. All right, put enough money in there, you could have retired by now. All right, so that was an incredible move. And it always looks so easy after the fact, right? But when you're in here, all right, except for the pyramids that did a pretty good job putting you in early, it's one of those things that you may have exited as soon as it went from what, $5 to $40, right? Because you already made like a couple 100% return on your money. So it's hard to stay in these sometimes, and that's where our pyramids really offer a lot of help, because obviously, you put your stops under the pyramids and allows you to trail up, and all you have to do is do that instead of emotionally getting out of trades based on the fact that they've doubled in money and so forth. All right, very human thing to do, to get out. We all struggle with it, but the pyramids are there to help you with that discipline in trends like this. All right, so what's it going to do now? Okay, is the question. I would have liked for you to gotten in here, Frank, instead of starting to get in here. I see a little bearish divergence. Anytime you get in near a top, it's a little bit of a gamble, because you may still go up. All right, we never know exactly how high this thing is going to really go. But the problem is, the higher it goes, the later you get in, the more your odds increase for a reversal. And that reversal, if you're using any type of risk control, is going to stop you out, because this is going to be a fairly, decent profit-taking wave 4. So this is an Elliott wave 3 for you Elliott wave people. I mean, you cannot say it's not. I mean, look at it. All right. But you're seeing bearish divergence in the wave itself. So I'm a little concerned about saying jump in, because I don't want you to get hurt if this thing makes a profit-taking wave. And usually after a profit-taking wave, you'll get higher highs. But the problem is you got to withstand the profit-taking phase. So I'm going to say no. You've had a lot of pyramids in a row. Our current pyramid was just stopped out. All right. And now you've got a little bit of a red owl showing up. So that usually would keep me from going long. And let's just for fun draw some possible profit-taking wave 4 areas in. So if this happened to go into a wave 4 right now, okay, you're looking at 97 to 63 on the pullback. All right. So chances are that's going to stop any short-term trader out. Now, what's interesting about this chart is that when the market corrects, and it will correct at some point, and I think probably now we're looking sometime in 2025. What's interesting is on these tech stocks, it looks like the correction is going to be a wave 4. And then after that's over, you'll have wave 5 higher. So the one thing I've noticed in the markets itself is that things move a lot faster than they did like 30 years ago when I first started doing this. And I think a lot of that has to do with the overall speed of news being reported and people acting quickly thanks to all the instantaneous things we can do on the internet, selling, buying, selling really quickly. So I think the correction when it comes both for the overall indexes and individual stocks is going to be quicker than corrections we've had a long time ago. So I think what we're seeing here is all these tech stocks that are still in possibly a wave 3 will pull back into a normal wave 4 during the next major stock market correction. But then after that, more highs. So the pullback will be pretty severe. I mean, it'll be 50%. So, I'm not saying it's not going to be a light pullback, but it's not going to be, I don't think it's going to be at the end of a wave 5. I think it's going to be at the end of a wave 3 on these major stocks. That's kind of what I'm thinking. All right. So Frank, I would hold off on that. GDS, let's take a look at that bad boy and see what we got cooking there for you. Okay, so this one actually is pretty good. All right, and what I like about it is we're starting to see after a big move down, you're not getting in late here. This is a fairly early entry. And, we did a worst case scenario in terms of if this is just a pullback in an ongoing longer term downtrend, then at least the pullback area is between 36 and 56. So I'm actually liking this. Okay, we got a little bit of red here pulling in. So we got a little bit of a pullback coming, but you got a nice pyramid here. And I would probably at this point maybe put your stop below this pyramid here, which is 1597. If you're long term, you're going to have to give it more room down here. Now, another thing you could do with this is use options. So when a market gets kind of a little too far away from where an ideal stop would be, but there's still plenty of potential in it, an option's a great way to go. Just simply buy a call option, and your risk is built into how much you pay for the option. So you certainly could do that and then not have to worry about a stop at all. And then make it a good 6 months to a year out to give that stock time enough to get into that target zone. All right. If you need help with options, all right, we have a whole course on that as well, an educational course, online course for that. So it'll teach you how to choose the best options and so forth for the particular type of strategy you're doing. So that's GDS. I'm going to put that in the buy. All right. Because I do think you have more potential and a decent risk to reward. Could be pulling back a little bit, but it's not so bad. All right, Stuart is back. San Diego Stuart, how are you? All right, BTI. Little earthquake in California yesterday. All right, off Redding, California, which is Northern California. So they were worried about a tsunami there coming into San Francisco. So Interesting, right? I think it was a 7 point something earthquake. So anyway, I hope everybody's doing well over there if you're tuning in from over there. All right, so BTI looks like it's trending up. Okay, it's been trending up for a while. So the an ideal entry would have been right here. Look at this pyramid right here. All right, right when the owl basically, which is our indicator. This is called the owl. This is the optimum wave locator, just so you know. And what I look at this for is it helps me with Elliott wave, but it also helps me determine and confirm whether I should be going long on a pyramid or not. So when it's red, you can go short, but when it's green, you don't go short, but you take any of the long pyramids. So that's kind of how we use it. So that's, lining up nicely. We got a green PTF way up here, okay, way up at 48. So I think probably with this one, looks like we had possibly a pullback. I'm hoping that's all we'll get. So I guess I'd put my stop under here. And maybe sometimes let me just see if there's something here on this leg down. I just want to make sure I see an ABC pattern. Yeah, it's not that, possibly an ABC. C wave's got to be equal or greater than A wave, and you might have that there. Okay, so that looks pretty good. I put my stop under here. Let me just also draw quick fibs in here from here to here, and that puts it right smack. If you really want to be super safe, you could lower your trade size and put your stop under there. So that would be another point. So you're not talking about a lot of money. So I'd probably put it at 32.5. All right. And your target then, of course, would be the PTF on this chart here. So your target would be 47.27. Okay. So, so you get about 5 points. Yeah, I think that's close enough. I think you can do that. Okay. I think the risk to reward is tolerable on that. Okay. So BTI. Okay. BTI. We'll put that down as a buy. And then Nike here, which we've looked at many times before. Let's say you're long on this one as well. All right. So you can stay long on BTI. And Nike you can too right now. Okay. Just, when you're breaking off a bottom, like on that chart on the far right, you got to put your stop at the bottom. Okay. If you're going to go in early, you got to put your stop at the bottom. And after this takes off, then you can use all the pyramids you want, and you shouldn't ever go below there, and you should just be able to ride it on up. So I'm liking this one still. Okay, it is still decent. Things are starting to turn around. It got a little dicey back in the late 20th of November. So I think we can put this one back on a buy list. We have some more buying coming in. You can see it coming in today. So I'm liking this one, okay? NKE we'll put back on the buy list. Thank you. Excellent. All right. Eleanor, good morning to you as well. All right. And Eleanor is here with 3. Not sure if you're in these already, Eleanor, but I will look them up and tell you what I think. All right. So assuming you're in, VIK, still loading here. Okay. So this is brand new. All right, it just opened up in 2024. So it's tough to get a real good take on it, but it looks like the move up has been so powerful that the software is calling this a wave 3. This just indicates, just draw your trend lines on this, okay? And you'll see that's an uptrend. My problem is with this is it's a couple things. I don't know where it's going, okay? It's hard for me to get a take on the target. Let me see if the short-term time frame has any help with that. I'm going to open that up. This is a 60-minute chart. Sometimes we can get a decent enough wave count on this. Okay, so we've had a gap down. We filled the gap, came back down. Looks like this bottom is holding. So, okay, I think the bullish situation here makes sense. PTF is not helping us too much for the target, because the target is so close to where prices are now. So if you go long on this, really, you got to be hoping that you get, or in the beginning, that's Nike actually. That was the wrong one there. All right, you got to be hoping that you're on the move up. Okay, so disregard the analysis on the 60-minute chart that I just did, because that was Nike. There's no data for VIK on that, I guess. All right, so looks like it's in a wave 3. I'm just going to say this: it's too late to get in. All right, I may be down here but at this particular point, you're probably looking at a retracement before it goes higher. Okay. All right. Let's just see. Boy, it took a long time. Let's just, oh, we got data now for VIK on this chart. Let me just check this out. All right. Yeah. And basically, we got bearish divergence here. Wait for the pullback. All right. So maybe wait for it to come down here into that range and then look for a buy. So I don't think I would buy it here. Okay. I would wait. All right. Hopefully that helped you. All right. Owl. Same as our indicator. All right. Let's see how the owl goes on owl. All right. So if we look here, not too much history on here. All right. So if you're long there, it looks to me like you'd have your stop right around in this area off the pyramid. Got a red PTF now on the 60-minute. So it looks like it's going into a profit-taking phase. So I don't think I would go in it until after the pullback. Okay. All right. GCT. We've looked at this one before. And you can tell by the fact the chart's been all marked up. All right. So we expected, when we first started looking at this a while back, we expected the pullback. All right. We got it. And now is it time to go back to the long side? This is actually, let me open this up a minute, but this gives you a great idea of when I say I don't think you should go in because there's going to be a pullback. If we had looked at this back in March, all right, of 2024, okay, and stocks were way up here, I would tell you not to go in because we're going to have a pullback. And guess what? That's exactly what we had. All right. And you can see sometimes these things go into more of a complex correction and then goes into a trading range, which is kind of where it's at. So I don't think I would go into this until we break out of this trading range. So maybe after it gets maybe something like above this price bar here at 29.20. So otherwise you may get just stuck in here. All right. I think maybe a bottom is in. All right. But I'd like to see a little bit more of a move back to the upside to show buying coming in, because I don't see much buying coming in right now. And we have here a red PTF and a red owl on the short-term time frame. Okay. So I wouldn't do anything with that. If you're in it and you stuck through this entire correction, well, I guess I would just stay with it. All right. At this point. All right, JP, how are you? All right, STM. Okay, STM is kind of an interesting one here. A lot of gap. Usually that's an indication a little bit of a lower liquidity. All right, smooth on the weekly chart. Let's open up that weekly chart first and see what we got cooking. All right, so, all right, we had a nice move up and a retracement coming back down. Let me just do this real quick. I'm going to draw a couple retracement areas, a major one there. So we've kind of gone through that already. And if that is, that might make more sense back here because that is, I believe, lower than that. Let me just check this. I'm looking for wave 2. Yeah, okay, so this could be a 2. Or even that could be, let's see. Oh, you had a spike up. All right, this is a 1. This is a bottom 2. So now we're in the next move up 3 inside the major move up here. Okay, so you're still coming down. All right, I'm not going to tell you to go long here. I would hold off and wait for things to get a little more bullish. We still got a red owl here. And you do have a pyramid here, but let's hold off even so on that. I want to see a little bit better turnaround on the weekly chart. And one of the main reasons is look at how powerful and how big this owl is still on the weekly. So I'm thinking any movement up is going to be met eventually with more selling, because that's what this is telling us on the far right. That's why I like to look at 3 time frames. So yeah, you may get a little bit of a pop here. Okay. And that pop could be as high as 31 to 36. But you also might not get that quite as quickly as you think. So it's not a big enough change of a trend to do anything with that. So I would say no. So let's take a look at your next one. If you are long that one, you probably hold it, JP, because you might get the advantage of that pop since you're already in. Otherwise, for new people, I think you can find something a little better. All right. So right away, green PTFs on ASTS across the board. And we have a shrinking owl, however, on the weekly chart. We've got a wave 4 correction indicated on the daily chart. And we've got some type of pullout here. So let's see what we got cooking. Another great example, folks, of basically when I say be careful of the pullback, if we were analyzing this here, there's the pullback. So these pullbacks or profit-taking areas can be a little tricky if you're using stops. Okay, so this is good. We're in the target zone. Looks like we have an ABC. I can see an A. I'll draw that on here. A, B, C. We got 3, so we could have a 4 buy. I say yes, this is a buy. All right. And I think the target on this is, I'll show you in a minute. Let me draw that on there. Take the target. This is a pretty good one, actually. So the target on there is 44 to 58. That's almost a double your money. So you see, when I see something like this compared to some that I say, they're okay, they're not great. This is an A trade, okay, compared to maybe a B trade on some of the others. So this is kind of where you want to be, all right? So this looks really good, good risk to reward. Also, too, usually what we see in these owls here is usually we see a little bit of a bulb up before it turns south, and that bulb up usually means more highs. So this is probably going to top out and be the end of the wave 3 here. Okay, so this is not a major 4 over there. So I'm saying go with it. So wave 5 here will be a wave 3 high over here. So this so far I think is one of the best we've looked at, ASTS. Okay, so I'm ASTS, yes, ASTS. That's a hard one to say 5 times. All right, so I'm liking that. Okay, so that's a buy. Good job. All right, GEO. Let's take a look at that bad boy. All right, big move up already. If you're long, stay long. If you're not long, wait for the pullback, okay? Because you got now a yellow PTF here. I'd say you're going to get a pullback. I think there's a lot more highs left on this. But here's what I don't want you to do is go in here, have it pull back to 20, which is quite a bit on a $28 stock, and then get stopped out. So your stop would have to be way down here. So let's wait on that. All right, until we get the pullback. All right, thank you. Excellent. But you got the ASTS on that as a good, really good one. All right, excellent. Eleanor's back with, and she is long on these. Good. Okay, XLE. Let's take a look at this one. And now I'm going to do a couple more, and then we'll wrap it up because I'm actually exceeding the 30-minute time frame. I'm glad to do it, but we don't want to make these so long that nobody bothers to watch the recording. All right. This one that you're long in, this is kind of messy a little bit. It's come down a little bit. This is an ETF, I think. So, you know. All right, so it goes back to 2000. I guess since you're long on this, I'm trying to figure out where you should put your stop because, look, it's been going up since 2020, and it's probably due for a pullback between 70 and 60. So I think you got to be careful about that. All right. So I would say let's, and you're in a pullback area here. So here's what I think will happen. I put my stop here. Okay. What's that? Just below what, 88 or something? So I think I put my stop right around 87.70. Okay. If we go straight down from here and you get stopped out, so be it. However, what you may have is you may get something like this. And if you do, then move your stop up under here. Okay, that type of thing. So it might go down a little further, obviously, before it turns around. But that's how I would do it. I would be looking to get out of this, is what I'm trying to say. But I'd be trying to do it in a orderly fashion. And I have no idea when you got in. But I don't think I'd want to hang around there too much. All right, SLB. All right, red PTF on the long-term chart. We've had the big retracement. You don't want to be here either. Okay. Now, with that said, this is a problem because I see it dipping below here at some point. If this was not red, Eleanor, over here, I would say, okay, it's just going to be a pullback and then it's going to go. But that is not what the indicators are saying. Indicators actually are saying that this low is not the final low. So it's going to be probably more something like that. So that concerns me a little bit. You got red here. Could it pull back and go up there? I don't think so. But, you know, I'm not you know, I don't know for sure. All right. But yeah, I think you need to get out of this. Okay. All right. Let's take a look at BROS. And this one, not much history on this one, but at least this one is solid to the upside still. So you can hold this one. Enjoy the ride. It's been quite a ride already. You got green PTFs there. Nice big owl here. Yeah, you'll get a pullback, but I think you should even hold it. Of course, you got a gap here. Gaps have a tendency to get filled, but I think you're going to still go up. Now, if you don't know what to do, I mean, you've got a pyramid here, right? But you can also, you know, just try to draw a trend line, you know, and you probably would have been just almost stopped out recently, and take maybe a third off the table if you've been in a long time. All right, that's what I do. So when something breaks away like this and you're worried about a pullback and you made so much money in a very short period of time, just take a trend line, start it here, go up here, and we've gone through it already, okay? So that would be an area where, okay, I'll sell a third of my position or a half and keep the rest on and maybe buy that third or half back if it fills the gap. Okay. That way you're locking in some profits, but you still got some skin in the game in case it moves up quicker before it pulls back. Okay. So that's kind of where I would do that one. All right. Let's keep going here. CLS. We guys got some good ones today. All right. CLS, long, already long, and long you should be. This is not what I'm going to recommend. All right, it's too extended to go in now, but Al, just put your stop at this pyramid here. All right, so that would be a low of around 81.29, so a couple ticks under that. All right, you're good there. ADM. All right, Archer Daniels. Let's see what's going on with that. And you are short on this. Are you thinking about going short? No. All right. The short position you miss. Okay, don't go short on that. All right, and Eleanor, let's see what we got. IRM. All right. Okay, so I think you're in these. So all these, you know, when you see something this extended, you know you're going to get a profit-taking pullback, right? But then you're going to get more highs. The question is, do you want to stay around for the profit-taking pullback? And on this one here, you're probably looking at $90 to what, $60, but it could take, you know, this will come at the time probably the index is correct as well. And so you're probably going to be in the correction for what, a year or so. All right. So I don't know if you want to do that. All right. So I would, you know, move my stop up, and this goes for everybody. I keep my stops fairly tight on some of these that have done so well recently. So maybe, Eleanor, put your stop under here. The pyramids would have had you out at this price here, which is 122.50. But you could put your stop in here down in here at 122.43 and see if it makes another quick high, and then move your stop up under here. So you could do that. All right. So, you know, you could stay in it, but please have a tight stop on these. PLTR. Same thing, okay? Same thing. Don't go long. If you're not in these now, don't go long yet. It's too late, all right? They're going to pull back, and then that's going to be a better opportunity. Are we going to get maybe into the 80s before it pulls back? Certainly looks that way, all right? We're at 75. But the problem is, for 5 possible points, if it pulls back, it's going to pull back between, you know, roughly 40 to 60%. That's a huge pullback. So that 5 points will evaporate real quick. wait for the pullback. And if you're in it, have your stop. I would put your stop right under. I would trail the stop really close. Okay, I'd put it probably under 69.88 if you don't want to weather the pullback. All right, DDOG. Similar thing. Okay, this is reaching up. It's not quite as extended as the others, and it looks to me like on the weekly chart we could be climbing above 200 here. So on this one, you can give it a little bit more room. You will get a pullback in this move up from here to here. So if you're going to stay with this, you want to put your stop below 139, right around 139. And that's a fairly, big chunk of change to give up. So you got to decide what you want to do. If you're looking to get out before the pullback, use the pyramid on the short-term chart on the far left. And that's going to be a stop at 162.69. And note you have bearish divergence. So you're getting ready to go into that pullback area. After the pullback, you should see more highs, but the decision on whether you want to weather the pullback is up to you. Okay. All right. I'm going to call it here today. Okay. I'll do a couple more here. And BG short for Al. Let's see. I don't think so. I think you're almost at the bottom of the short. Okay, so don't do that one. Frank, happy December. Yeah, you too, Frank. Great to have you here. All right, couple. I'll just finish up a few of these. Hey, I want to go short on the video. Okay. Well, I think we were saying that's kind of getting ready for a short, right? So you got red here. Pyramid's been stopped out. Let's see if we take out this bottom here, Frank, on this price bar. Then I think you can go short. Okay. All right, and then put your stop at the top. All right, so maybe a low here has to be taken out of 131.80. Okay, so you need to get below there, another 10 points down, because you could still make another high. All right. All right, Bill, I'm just going to do a couple of yours here really quick. All right, TALK, great to have everybody here, though. Love it. All right, so again, not a lot of history here. I think it's a little too late to get in on this. I think we're going to have a pullback. So I would bring this back every week and let's see what we got. This is a very cheap stock, but I think it's going to pull back to around 260 because that would put it right about where the fibs would say. Let's see. Yeah, 301 to 253 with 277 being the likely place. Okay, so don't go long on that. OPK. And OPK is also a cheapie. This is looking bullish on the weekly. I like that. Okay, so it made one more bottom here. Trying to see. I think this one, if you wanted to take a quick trade on this, I'd use the 60-minute chart and get out at the 170 mark. So I'm thinking here we got a high here of 171. Yeah, I put the stop at 170 because of liquidity. It may reverse pretty quick. And that would be a PTF trade because this is still green. Okay, put your stop down below here. Okay, so your stop would have to be 154. Okay, I would take that. That could be a good one. I'm not going to put that on the recommended list because you have to be really quick on that one. All right, and that's OPK TLRY. Let's take a look at that bad boy. And this is a $1.30 stock. Let's see. Okay, well, it certainly is bottoming. Let's hope it doesn't go bankrupt, right? All right, so it's too early to go long. All right, we still got some active pyramids in here. It may be slowing up to the downside, but wait. All right. The thing is with penny stocks, they're so alluring, right? $1.30, boy, I could buy a whole bunch of that. Problem is that thing could go down to 75 cents and then you'd lose half your money. All right. So you still got to be careful with risk control on those. So I would not do it. It's a little too soon. Okay. ALIT. Look at that next week. We'll put that on a watch list for next week. Okay. And we'll take a look at that. So come back next week. All right, another not really a penny stock. So this one's a little more, but not a lot of history. And so kind of bouncing along the bottom And we got a red PTF and a green PTF. So it's still coming down a little bit. So no go on that one. All right. And then FSLY. All right. I like the price structure on the daily chart. I like it starting to be good on the weekly chart. My problem with this is the red PTF on the daily. So I would not trade against that. That just means that anything going up, all right, is going to be temporary and we should be going down. Now, let's just say, let's see if we can just pull something in here to give us an idea of where this thing could be going. So I think on this pull up, we're looking at 13 to 17, which would be a great return if you could get to 17. So I'll leave that up to you, but your stop would have to go down here at 6. So that's 4 points to make 4 points. That's a 1-to-1 risk to reward. Not so great. Okay. So, and especially with the red PTF, it makes me a little nervous. I don't think I would do that one. Okay. All right. Al's back with GME. And I think this is the last one, GME. All right, so Al's looking at a long trade for that. PTF and Al are green there. You got above that negative pyramid, so that's no longer valid. And you got valid ones here and valid ones here. You've had a pullback. I'm actually going to recommend this one, okay, GME. And the short-term target, believe it or not, is quite high, all right? And it's not going to get there tomorrow. But if you're willing to hold this maybe half a year to a year, looks to me like 64.83 is the high and we're at 28.79. So that's a double your money. Okay. So that will put on the buy list. And then your stop for that. I would try to give this a little bit of room on this pullback. So let's put this thing under a microscope a little bit here. All right. Actually, we could do that probably also on the 60, but since I got this thing already up. So let's see where you want to put. You don't want to have your stops too close, okay? So I put your stop at 24.85, okay, or 83. Okay, Pyramid's got it a little higher than that, but I would give it the full room of that fib retracement. It may be done, okay? We may immediately go to the high, another high before pulling back. So I think this is a good time to get in with your stop, let's say at 24.83. Okay, take profit when you get to the upper fib area, okay, at that particular point. I think that looks good in that upper fib area. Could take you a while to get there, but actually the real short-term one is at 32, but I think you're probably going to go up to around 40, which would be the fib extension. So I'm going to put that as a buy. Okay, I'm liking that. All right, so let's say go here. All right. Okay, just a little bit. I think that's it. So we'll call it today. But before you go, just FYI, next Friday we're not going to be here. Okay, so no stock analysis Friday next week, and then we'll pick it up the week after. Okay. So besides, next Friday is Friday the 13th. So scary day. All right. So we're not going to be here for Friday the 13th, but we'll pick it up the week after. Okay. So there you have it. Well, thank you, everybody, for coming. And once again, happy holiday season. All right. Have a safe time. If you travel around, get ready. And don't forget, we have a day trading room. So if you're into that, you can go to our website and check that out. Had a lot of fun. We got great returns so far this year. All right. So that's going well. And I'm trying to think what else to tell you. I think that's it. So have a good one. All right. And let me just quickly go over the winners for today. So we got MGM, and that's actually to the short side. All right. So that's the only short trade we have today. All right. And let me just put Gene's little note up there so you can see it. All right. We have GDS. That's a buy. BTI. That's a buy. NKE. Nike, of course. That's a buy. ASTS. That's one of the best ones we saw today. That's a buy. And GME, the one we just looked at, is a buy. On the watch list, we got BSEM. We got GEMS BA, and then we got TLRY on the watch list. So there you have it. Okay. So listen, everybody, have a great one. Thank you for coming. You guys are great out there. We appreciate it. Thank you, Bill. Appreciate that as well. And as Gene says, give us a like before you go. All right, so we'll see you back here in 2 weeks, everybody. Have a good one. And I'm going to close the room pretty quickly because we're almost at the hour mark. So take care, everybody. Thank you. Bye-bye.